Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we are taking a look at the first Commonwealth cruiser to come to World of Warships Legends, the Perth. Now, Perth is a bit weird just because she's not traditionally available in the shop. You have to use, she's kind of the ultimate reward ship for the Halloween event, but you do have to pay a minimum of 1,000 doubloons for her, depending on how many of the shards you end up earning. You could pay as many to buy as many of the Halloween containers as you want, that you can whale your way and not even have to touch the Halloween event. Or if you play the Halloween event every single day in the easy and normal modes, you can find yourself getting it for about 1,000 of the credits. And also you need Nightmare Kawachi with doing all of its challenges. So getting the Perth a bit weird, but now we'll go ahead and go over and talk about whether it's worth it or not. We're going to go over the commander, the modules, the mod slots, and then show off a game in the ship. So if that sounds good, make sure you stay tuned and you hit that like and you hit that subscribe button, and tell me down below, are you going about pursuing the Perth, or is this just one of those ships that you're going to let sail by? So first things first, let's go ahead and talk about the commander. Brand new for this ship, Harold Farcorn. You can pick him up in the Halloween specialty shop for 900,000 commander XP, so the standard price. He isn't available in the game via the crates like the usual sets of commanders would be. His base trait is unique. It's going to decrease your ship's detectability time after firing main battery guns while in smoke, and it's going to decrease the range at which you are detected when firing in smoke. Useful traits, kind of like Azur Lane Belfast, kind of a free Azur Lane Belfast if you want to take a look at it that way. And then as far as the inspirations, we are running Makawa and Mimbelli with Beyond Range, Igniter, Light Fortress, Fixated, and Fully Packed. He does have a unique second skill slot, which is going to boost the range when you're inside a smoke screen, and also boost the shell grouping when you're inside a smoke screen. But I found myself tending towards the increased fire chance with Perth. On to the mod slots, and well, in mod 1 we are going to be running aiming system mod 1, and in the second mod slot there is no engine boost, which is unfortunate because I feel like the ship could actually use it. It's said to have it already built in, because if you didn't know, Perth is kind of a subclass of the Leanders, but she does not perform like it. Instead, we are running steering gears on this. Finally, let's go ahead and take a look at those consumables. You have the damage control party, gonna last 5 seconds, gonna reload in 58.8 seconds. Then we have the sonar, 2-point detectability on torps, 4-kilometer detectability on ships, lasts for 92 seconds, reload in 176.4 seconds, and 3 charges. Then you're going to have the option between enhanced AA or the fighter plane. I went up with catapult fighter, and that's because of what's in the second slot. That is the smoke generator, but it is a unique smoke generator. It is a crawling smoke generator. So if you stay at a quarter speed, you will keep pace with the smoke. It won't stay for very long behind you. It's interesting. It is. I don't think it's as good as your traditional smoke screen. Yes, you can maneuver a little bit in it, but really, how far are you getting in a minute when you're going quarter speed? Not very far. I would still, though, stick with the catapult fighter, because that way you are, if there are ships firing in your area, there are enemy ships firing in your area while you're in the smoke, you can use that as a spotter aircraft while in the smoke, which is exactly kind of what you want to do. So that's everything you need to know about Perth. Let's go ahead and dive on into the stats. Perth, 27,100 hit points with an armor thickness between 10 and 100 millimeters. Let's go ahead and take a look at the armor on the ship. And guys, it's pretty much a Leander. 16 millimeters of armor, and well, a stepped citadel that sits right at waterline at center ship. You can absolutely get slapped while in this vessel. Main batteries, well, you got 4 2-barreled 152 millimeter guns with a firing range of 15.6 kilometers. Reload time on them 7.1 seconds, giving you a 68 shells per minute. 180 time on the guns, 25.7 seconds. HE damage, yes, She does have HE, and this is kind of what I would recommend running the most. 2100, giving you a DPM of 142,800 and a 12% chance to set fire. AP damage, you're looking at 3,100, giving you 210,800 DPM. Secondaries, you're going to have 4 2-barreled 102mm guns with a firing range of 5.2 kilometers, reload time of 3 seconds, and they'll do 1,500 damage and a 9% chance to set fire. Torpedoes, you got 2 4-barreled 533mm torp tubes, 1 on each side, with a reload time of 96 damage, doing 15,433. Detectability range on them, 1.3 kilometer, with a speed of 61 knots and a range of 8 kilometers. You can single fire them, which I love them so dearly. AA, 5-kilometer range with a minimum damage of 38, and it only goes up to 55. A relative light AA suite on this vessel. So the enhanced AA could be useful just to get it up to normal cruiser spec, essentially, for the tier. But that catapult fighter is probably going to be a slightly more useful. Turning radius on the vessel, 648 meters, with a rudder shift time of 6.1 seconds. Concealment of the vessel, you're looking at 10.2 kilometers by sea, 6.4 by air, and 4.9 when firing in smoke. And that is all of the stats of the Perth. So let's go ahead and dive on into a game. Here we are on Estuary, and well, what can I say about the Perth? Unfortunately, I think she's a pretender to the throne. If you follow this channel for a while, you'll know one of my, if not my favorite ship in this game is Leander, and Perth has always been pitched as an alternate build Leander, and I was like, oh man, I am super excited to get a alternate build Leander, and what we get just isn't too exciting to me. So yeah, anyways, Mackinson pops up here, and we're going to try to show off one of the great things about the ship, and that is the fire chance. Kind of the plan here, try to get some permafires on the Mackinson. Of course, he's going to have limited damage control parties because he is one of the German battle cruisers, and they don't get many. Also, good news for us, it does appear that there are destroyers about, and that's one thing that Perth is pretty good at, is eliminating enemy destroyers. So we've gone ahead, started our smoke generators, started to slowly crawl towards that set of islands off to the left-hand side. Fubuki gets spotted here. We're going to go ahead and try to engage the Fubuki. We do need to be careful. Fubuki doesn't have like the ability to put his torpedoes directly where we are. Like, he won't have a guide, but if he's smart, he should be able to probably nail us here in the smoke, so we do need to be cautious. And speaking of torpedoes, here they go. We start to see them like, okay, we're fine here. That last one, yep. Oh, they're running out of steam. Perfect. Fubuki, or we get another fire set right there, and we're slowly trying to chip away when we can on this Fubuki. We can see we've gotten him down below just about half health. I thought those torpedoes were going to go away. They didn't, so we do take a large chunk of damage. One thing you'll notice about Perth, she doesn't have a heal. Leander does get a heal, and that means she plays a lot more forgivingly, I would say. She's a lot easier to play. Perth, you have to manage the hit points because once you lose them, you're not going to get them back. We can see more torpedoes coming our way. And I was like, oh man, I thought we were going to be able to finish the Mackinson with that shot, but we do get a nice, beautiful Citadel on the Omaha. We're going to flip back over to HE, and our fire does end up filling off the Mackinson, but we need to get out of here. There is a destroyer in smoke, and he can easily damage us. Omaha, while being a laughingstock of the tier, or of tier 4 in a floating Citadel, he can also, as you can see, do some pretty good damage. He has a ton of guns, and we don't have very thick armor, which means he can easily penetrate. We're going to hide behind this island here. He's drop spot. He can't hit us anymore, and we're going to try to get our shots through the gaps in the island. We're being told we can't do it, but you know, you play the game long enough, you figure out these spots where you can kind of get rounds down range when you need them, and that's exactly what we're doing here, finding the gaps, trying to see when we can get these guns. We are being spotted by the plane, which is unfortunate. You can see there's an abundance of fire coming out of that smoke screen. from 2 locations. So not only is there 1 destroyer, but there's most likely 2 destroyers, and that's beautiful because it's time for us to go hunting, and there those destroyers are. Time for us to go full speed ahead and hunt these guys down. Aircraft carrier gets a beautiful hit off on that Fubuki, disables his engines. We flip back over to the HE, which is incredibly effective against these guys. The HE, or the AP, not as effective as Leander's. I don't think it has the preferred penetration angles that Leander's AP gets, which is unfortunate. I think, British AP, British Light AP is some fantastic stuff, and it can do some fantastic damage when applied in the correct scenario. Unfortunately for Perth, she just doesn't get it, so it's another kind of downgrade from Leander. So one, you have a less effective smoke screen. You do get the shell choice, which is nice, but the AP definitely is not as effective, and then you also lose the heal. So you do end up losing a lot of things with Perth, which ultimately makes the ship not one that I'm finding myself to be a huge fan of. T-22 right there, he ends up getting spotted by the aircraft carrier. We are going to go ahead and continue to push him in, hem him in. We are running our sonar in case any torpedoes come our way. We're going to go ahead, fire a swath of torpedoes, and then angle ourselves in once again towards that last known location of the T-22, trying to pick it for the aircraft carrier here, just in case we end up getting spotted. Of course, aircraft carrier blind dropping inside the smoke on the hope of being able to knock him off the board. Unfortunately, he doesn't get any hits right there, but we do alert him like, hey, we are being spotted. That guy's out of the smoke. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a spot. We do pick up the T-22 briefly, or maybe he does, and we're going to go ahead and continue the fire. We get a fire that's going to raise out his spotting bubble, and we do knock his engine one more time, trying to get those guns back on target, see if we can go ahead and eliminate him. We knock him out there. We're at 3 kills with 2 ships remaining in the match. It's time to go ahead and push on through. As far as the remainder of the match, there isn't really anything to show. We sail into the 2 remaining capture points, and we get those caps. The cruiser's shortly eliminated, and the aircraft carrier, well, you can imagine where he is. It's the moon. So, final thoughts on Perth. I'm not too impressed. I think if you really enjoy the Leander, it's interesting. I think Huang Ha, the Pan-Asian Leander-ish ship, is a bit better, and you get the deep water torps and a bit more weird, and I like the weird boats. As far as Perth goes, I think it doesn't, the build that the game wants you to do with the smoke isn't too viable. I think the way that the smoke screens are distributed, where the dispersion time of it, the reload time of it doesn't start counting until the very end of this smoke screen, because of the way it distributes compared to a traditional smoke screen, means you have large gaps in between when you would usually be able to start reloading the smoke, which means you're kind of left for long strings of time without the smoke. I just think the way everything goes, it just doesn't work out. I think the build isn't too viable, so you have to play it a bit differently. You have to play for the fire chances. The fires are what you can really do, especially if you can get some perma fires out there, but it's rough sometimes, and I just wish this was a ship that I loved, and sadly it just isn't. Is it worth 1,000 doubloons? Maybe. That's up to you. Money has a cost to everyone, and that's a lot of time you have to sink in. Is it worth more than that? Probably not. But yeah, so guys, that's the Perth. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.